In this video, you'll discover how to lose weight and gain more energy in just 10 days. 1.9 billion people are considered to be overweight or obese worldwide. Of these 1.9 billion people, 13% of them are obese. An amazing thing happens when you start actually eating the foods that your body needs in order to actually survive. You start getting that micronutrient support, and you're gonna find a lot of cravings that you have start to diminish. There's so many studies out there that basically show the less we move, the more fatigued we are. The less we exercise, the more fatigued we are. When we exercise, it energizes us, it increases our focus, it increases our brain power. We need to make sure that we're moving in order to really feel like we have the energy that we need. Millions of people every single day are struggling with weight loss. Millions of people every single day are struggling with fatigue, and these two topics go hand in hand. Now, when people are trying to conquer weight loss, essentially they turn to a couple things. They turn to a very complicated diet that's unsustainable, and eventually they crash at it and they just get no results. They just stop it altogether, or they turn to a rigorous workout routine, which is something, of course, that's unsustainable for them, and then they just give up. And so what I want to do in this video is I want to teach you how to lose weight and gain more energy in just 10 days. I want to give you straight to the point, things that you can implement today in order to get amazing results. So stick around to the end of this video so that you can lose weight and gain more energy naturally. But before we get started, I'm Dr. Zarowski, and welcome to the channel. If you're new to the channel, it's a pleasure to have you here. Be sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification, and join our notification community so that I can help you excel your health and your life. Now, the thing is I really want to help you gain more energy and lose more weight, but I want to put a little bit of context behind this conversation. Because when we look at weight loss and fatigue, it is an absolute epidemic. Let's first start with weight loss. Now, obesity has tripled since 1975. So basically, this is a major, major issue. People in 1975 didn't have all these issues that we are facing today. So obesity has tripled. That's a real problem. 1.9 billion people are considered to be overweight or obese worldwide. Of these 1.9 billion people, 13% of them are obese. And so this is something that so many people are struggling with, right? And when we look at these people who are struggling, this thing isn't about being judgmental. This isn't about accepting people who are overweight. It's about truly helping them. Many of the people who will watch this video are struggling with weight loss. Many of the people are struggling with fatigue. And the thing is when you're struggling with weight loss, it's a problem because it is a major, major killer. When we think of cardiovascular health, right? If you're overweight, you're going to have cholesterol problems. You're going to have a huge increased risk of stroke and heart attack and all of these different issues people are facing. From a musculoskeletal perspective, you're going to have a greater chance of arthritis, joint degeneration, neurological issues. You're going to have a greater chance of diabetes. I mean, the list goes on and on when you look at all the different problems that obesity and being overweight causes. So what we want to do is we want to go right to the main things that are going to give you great results in reversing this issue. I want to talk about fatigue for a moment as well, because 43% of people basically complain about being fatigued and just being tired all the time. And this is a thing that many people are struggling with, so much so that they turn to things like energy drinks. When we look at the energy drink market, it literally is just soaring. It's unbelievable how many people are turning to energy drinks. And if they're not turning to these different, caffeinated energy drinks, they're turning to coffee, because coffee shops are literally popping up on every corner, it seems, anymore. So we have a very fatigued society that's turning to these different items. Now, unfortunately, if you are overweight, that's one of the major causes of fatigue, one of many major causes of fatigue. But the other thing that is going to make things worse when it comes to fatigue is actually going and utilizing all these stimulants. If you're going and drinking a bunch of energy drinks, if you're pouring on tons of coffee into the body every single day, then that actually just kind of complicates the issue. It further stresses out the adrenals, and as a result, your body just isn't utilizing its natural resources in order to produce energy. It's starting to wait on those stimulants, and then it becomes a negative feedback cycle. So we really want to go in and figure out how to lose weight and also gain more energy. And we're going to do it in just 10 days. We're going to really start seeing some great results. So you want to stick around to the end of this video so that you can join this 10-day challenge and, of course, report back to me the amazing results that you're going to get. So 10-day challenge. Here's what you have to do as far as dietary changes. So one of the things you have to do is cut out the sugar. It's estimated that the average person is consuming about 175 pounds of sugar every single year. And that is an absolute bizarre statistics when we look at, just sugar consumption in general, because that is crazy to think that many people are eating that much. And many people think, well, that's not me, because they think of like going and taking sugar out of the sugar bowl and putting it into their food. But the truth is that you're eating a whole bunch of different foods that is loaded with sugar. So we want to make sure that We are cutting out sugar. So the ice cream, the sugary drinks, the sodas, the teas, all these different things, we want to make sure that we're getting that out of our diet over the next 10 days so we can get amazing results. Now, the next thing you have to do here is lower your carbs, okay? We have to lower your carbohydrate intake, right? And I'm not going to be ridiculous with any of these recommendations. I'm not saying like, follow a super strict diet. I'm just saying lower your carbs. I'm not even telling you to take them all out. Just lower them, okay? So the rule is that you have to consume 100 grams of carbohydrates or less over the next 10 days. And then the other thing that you have to do is you have to eat only healthy carbs, okay? So if you're eating a lot of white breads, a lot of refined bleached white flours, those types of things, pasta, we want to cut all that stuff out. We want to stick to only healthy carbs. We want to think of like beans, lentils, sweet potatoes, those types of carbohydrates. So that's what I want you to do with carbs over the next 10 days. Now, the next thing here is increase your leafy green intake, okay? Many people don't ever eat leafy greens. We want to increase your leafy greens. I want you to have at least one nice big salad a day with lots of different assortments of lettuce, like a romaine lettuce, some spinach, lots of these leafy greens, and make sure that you're consuming more of those on a daily basis, because this is very important. An amazing thing happens when you start actually eating the foods that your body needs in order to actually survive. You start getting that micronutrient support, and you're going to find a lot of cravings that you have start to diminish. These cravings for sugar, these cravings for carbs, it's really going to help kind of just detox that stuff out of your life. Next here is drink more water. Now, many people are drinking a lot of things, but they aren't drinking water, right? They turn to sodas, they turn to like sweet teas, those kind of drinks, but we want to make sure that we're cutting that stuff out during this time and just drinking more water. Now, the other reason it's important to drink more water is that many people confuse the feeling of thirst with the feeling of hunger. So they confuse those two signals, and so they get thirsty and they turn to food and they start eating, and they're consuming way too many calories on a daily basis. Increase your water intake, and you may see that a lot of your food intake, your calorie intake starts to decrease. So drink lots of water during these 10 days. Next here is eat whole foods. That's the rules. You have to eat whole foods. You want something sweet, you go get a piece of fruit. If you are, picking up a package that has, the ingredient list that has 20 different ingredients, most of them you can't pronounce, those are gone during these 10 days. So we want to stick to whole foods. We want to think meat. We want to think vegetables. We want to think fruits, okay? Now, last here is no snacking. Between your meals, no snacking. What we want to really do is push our body to go into a fat burning state. We want to make sure that we're driving insulin levels low. We want to make sure we're driving blood sugar low. And so not only by eating a healthier diet are we going to do this, but we're going to do it by no snacking between your meals, putting your body into more of a fasted state as much as we can. Now, there's going to be some people who go, well, you know what? I already am so healthy that this stuff I'm already doing. But guess what? The majority of people are not doing it. I recently was traveling with my family, and there's no better way to see how many people are struggling with obesity and being overweight than going to a water park and seeing everybody who is there. I'd say roughly about 95% of people are overweight and struggling with their health. And so I want to make sure that we, even if this is not us, we know somebody who's having this issue. So share this video with them so that they can start getting some results, right? Because it's no good for me to sit here and be super healthy while you're struggling, or where, well, millions of people are struggling with their weight. It's important that, I take this stuff, you take this stuff, and you share it with the people who are struggling. Let's talk about what you have to do further on this 10-day challenge. I want you to do intermittent fasting, okay? If you've never done intermittent fasting and you don't know much about it, I'll put a link in the description below so you can learn more, so that you can follow along at this 10-day challenge. And like I said, at the end of it, tell me the amazing results you get with weight loss and improving your energy. So when we do fasting, 16 and 8 basically means that you're going to fast for 16 hours, eat all your meals within an 8-hour period. If you've never done intermittent fasting, I want you to start right here. So this basically means you're going to skip breakfast, really, if we just put this into perspective. You're going to stop eating at like 8 o'clock at night, and then you're going to fast the next day all the way till sometime around noon, and then you can start eating again. Now, if you've never done fasting, intermittent fasting, like I said, 16 a day is what I want you to do. But if you can do one meal a day, that's even better. So let's say you try intermittent fasting throughout this time, and 16 and 8 seems pretty easy for you, and you come to your eating window and you're coming up on that first hour when you can go and break your fast. Let's say you feel really good. I want you to push it a little bit further, okay? I want you to just push it maybe to 17 hours, 18 hours. If you can get away with one meal a day, then do it. But don't push yourself to the point where it's causing you to crash and you give up, okay? So intermittent fasting is a must during this 10-day challenge. So make sure that you implement that. Let's go ahead and talk about what you have to do for exercise. Now, once again, I'm not going to give you some rigorous exercise routine that you're going to go, oh my gosh, like I'm already out because I'm going to fail at this. I'm going to give you a very simple steps that you can do in order to just get moving. Okay, that's so important. There's so many studies out there that basically show the less we move, the more fatigued we are. The less we exercise, the more fatigued we are. When we exercise, it energizes us. It increases our focus. It increases our brain power. We need to make sure that we're moving in order to really feel like we have the energy that we need. So first of all, there's two ways that we're going to exercise during this 10-day challenge. One, it's going to be 30 minutes a day. And what you're going to do is go for a walk, okay? If exercising is so far out of your scope of understanding or something that you're doing on a daily basis, I want you to just do a 30-minute walk a day, and that's it, okay? If you're someone who can do more than that, then I want you to do some jogging. So you can do for a 30-minute jog, or you can do some weightlifting, okay? So once again, walking is kind of the easiest, jogging is second, and then third, either you can go for a 30-minute run or you can do weightlifting, okay? And this doesn't mean that you have to go and like become a bodybuilder. I'm just talking picking up some weights and do some weightlifting. Work your shoulders, work your arms, work your legs, start doing a little core work, just get moving and do that for 30 minutes. Now, the other form of exercise we're gonna do, which is one I will highly encourage you to do, is 10 minutes of exercise 2 times per day. So you do this once in the morning and once at night. If you want now, you can combine these two instead of, doing 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes at night. What you can do is combine them and just do 20 minutes, okay? But this right here is going to be high intensity interval training. So you have two options where you can do 20 minutes all at once or split it apart and do 10 and 10. Now, in the high intensity interval training, there's a couple ways you're going to do these, okay? First of all, you can do high intensity interval training in the way of sprints, okay? So you just basically go and sprint for 20 minutes, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. I have a whole video on that. I'll put a link in the description below if you're not familiar with high intensity interval training. Now, the other thing here is that you can go on like a bike, okay? And you can do 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. When you are doing this, you're going all out. So you're basically on that bike and you were just biking all out to the top of your capacity for 30 seconds and then you take a 30-second break. And then you can even switch it up. Okay, so this is actually where it gets a little bit more fun if you want to switch it up in your routine. So I will give you an example of something where you can go and kind of just put together your own little workout routine and do this. Now it'll look something like this. So you can do jumping jacks, 30 seconds, take a 30-second break. Then do push-ups for 30 seconds, take a 30-second break. Then you can do something like mountain climbers, and you can look all this stuff up on YouTube. There's tons of resources for, some of these different things I'm mentioning. Mountain climbers, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. And then from there, you can do like a squat, bicep curl, shoulder press, okay? 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. So you do these, and these are all right here specifically workouts that work a lot of different body parts, and I'm specifically putting these in here because I want you to work a lot of body parts. If you can activate more muscles, you're gonna burn more calories during this time. So do this form of workout, one or the other, or maybe even go back and forth, do it for 10 days and let's see what happens with weight loss. Let's see what happens with your energy. I already know what happens because many people have already done this and they've gotten really good results. And so make those dietary changes, implement intermittent fasting, implement this form of exercise, and then put in the comments below the results that you get. Give this video a thumbs up, share it with all your friends because I want them to do this too. And then I want you to also check out a video that I did, how to exercise in order to get the best results when it comes to weight loss. It's really regarding this information right here. Take a look at this video and it's gonna really help you get started with exercise for losing weight on a daily basis. Work out for 15 to 20 minutes a day. Everybody can lend their health 15 to 20 minutes, no doubt.